Hello everybody, Ace here, giving it to you straight with day 56 of the Video Log Challenge, and today I wanted to talk to you about my message to humanity on the 12/21 event date and how I believe it has everything to do with learning how to be and not needing to do things externally so much to feel fulfilled and purposed within. Now, the reason I wanted to talk to you about this today was because my friend Kim told me this amazing statement that I heard yesterday that really it imbued me with, I just wanted to jump on and make a video about it. And her friend told her that we aren't human doers, we're human beings. And I thought that was amazing because even the message that came to me a night or two ago about being, doing, trusting, and believing, the first step, the first part of that process is being. Once we can finally be okay with just being, not having to do anything, not having to be any more than what we are, not having to do any of that, that is where bliss comes from. That's the 0 point. And then that's what, when we go and do stuff, it just takes off without effort or without trying and just brings in a lot of abundance. And the reason I believe this is because when we're constantly externalized, constantly spinning our wheels out there trying to make things happen, trying to control people. Oh, humanity's like this. Oh, my mom and dad's like that. Oh, my boyfriend or girlfriend's like this. Blah, 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 blah. When we come up with all these excuses, when we're trying to effort externally and we're not bringing it into the focus within ourselves, that's what I believe causes chaos, suffering, and separation from the divine. Now, the reason that we are human beings is because if it was our job to be human doers, that's what we would be called, and that's what we would be focused on doing. But again, the way the matrix was set up is everything's its inverse. So we're human beings that are trying to do all the time, right? God's within us, but we worship an externalized God. You have to keep trying to change the world and change everyone else externally, but in reality, the only thing you need to do is evolve your spirit, change the way you treat your temple, and then that will create the manifestation for all the things that we want. And I say that as if it's easy. It is not easy at all, but I feel that by speaking about it in such a way that makes it seem easier, then we don't have this excuse like, oh, it's so hard and I can't do this and I'm less than and I'm separate. I think it's time we first need to change our self-talk. I think it's time to change our self-talk and these misbeliefs that we aren't these God creator beings that are capable of everything and anything. Now, we obviously have limitations being in form, and we need to work together to do bigger and better things, quote unquote. But in reality, if your house isn't in order, if your temple isn't clear, if you're not in the best place within yourself, then even if you go work with a bunch of other people to create something bigger and better, you will then inevitably somehow shit on whatever it is that everyone's doing. So people ask, why are there people that just piss in everybody's Cheerios all the time? Why are you always raining on people's parades? And it's because they don't know how to be any other way. It just came to me today. I was outside and my brain I just randomly get into arguments with nothing inside my head, and that's how I know it's not mine. And I kind of just observe it now. But I also started thinking, why are people the way they are? Is because they don't know how to be any other way. And in reality, they're doing the very best they can. And because we think they need to be someone or something else, regardless if it's affecting us or not, because all we have to do is communicate that or make a decision to exit out of their life. But because we stay in that misery, we stay in that situation, and then we project the discomfort we have within ourselves because we're choosing to be in that situation onto that other person. And in a way, we're hindering their growth because now they're being reminded of exactly how they think and feel about themselves, which is, I'm not good enough. And then in reality, they're going to turn around and then start projecting all of their egoic trauma, bleeding all of their unaddressed wounds on everybody else. And we do the same thing. I do it. Everyone does it. Sometimes it's too much of a burden to hold within. You want to unpack it. And I believe that's what parents do to their children a lot because they know their children are going to love them unconditionally. They unpack their bullshit onto them because they don't want to walk around with it anymore. They don't want to deal with it anymore. thinking, oh, I'm just talking, or I'm just making a statement, or I'm just. But in reality, you're giving your children your trauma. You're giving your children those coping mechanisms. You're giving your children your pain and suffering. And then now you're going to stay in that pain and suffering, and now they're going to have that pain and suffering. And then imagine when you two come together, all you're going to see is that pain and suffering reflected in one another, and you're going to hate each other because in reality, you really don't like yourself. And that's all that is. That's all this issues with people in our families is really issues with ourselves that we project onto others. And that's what my guides and that's what these channels I've been tapping into have been coming to me about, is this idea that it's time, now that it's 1221, now that you basically, if you're awake at this point, you kind of figured it all out. It really is just doing the work at the right time and being consistent with frequency and discipline and self-love and self-care and self-awareness and self-acceptance, all the things I've been talking about in these videos, and many, many others have. Now it's time to apply them interpersonally so that they then can create the resonance needed to improve the new earth the way we want. But if we're not doing it for ourselves, it won't work for anyone else. And so I wanted to talk about this one channel I got from Archangel Metatron. And I'm just going to stop saying, like, oh, I don't know if you don't believe me, and then because that in itself is perpetuating my own insecurities. And so I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to believe it for myself. You can take it if it resonates. You can turn me off. I just hit 100 subscribers, so appreciate you all on that. That was awesome. But it's real quick, but it's really powerful, and I may actually just make another video just to put it out there for people. But again, for me, what I've been struggling with is I need to do more. I need to be more. I need to give my gift. I need to help humanity. Why is this not working? Why is it not coming? Separation, being a toddler again, and not evolving myself into the spiritual being, the spiritual leader that I know that I have been tapped to become. And so now I really have to practice with new self-talk. I need to practice with new mindsets. I need to practice with new life systems. And that takes time too. Remember, the first 90 days of any major life change is going to be very uncomfortable, and you're going to freak out for the most part. But if you can get through that, you'll be golden. And this is what he said to me. And I didn't even know who was kind of like channeling this through me until about 7/8 of the way through. And then I kind of asked real quick, and he imbued me with, it was Metatron. And for all of those people who don't know who Archangel Metatron is, he was the first human on Earth that became an ascended master, became an archangel. And he was the one that God tapped to be kind of like the leader of the archangels. And that's where Lucifer got butthurt. And he wanted to be the leader of the angels. And him and Michael got in a big fight, and then when he was casted down. And that's what this whole thing's all about. Take it or leave it. But I think it's a badass story, and it seems very human and very spiritual. So if you ever have a chance to learn a story, to read the Book of Enoch, to learn the story of Archangel Metatron, I highly suggest it. You're going to do what you're going to do, and that's going to be good enough. Faith, trust, belief in yourself, the universe, and God. There is nothing left but to be, do, trust, and believe. You have the keys, you've gained admittance, and you're now standing in the kingdom. Keep down this path, and it will be fireworks. The situations and circumstances that come will be handled, and however you handle them will be the most appropriate action or word taken to address the situation. You're a giant now, but still a human being. It's now time to begin preparing yourself for the final stages of this transformation. What is about to happen within you will be awe-inspiring, to say the least. Do not be alarmed. All this is good and will benefit you and all of humanity drastically in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Continue to focus on yourselves for now. This is a time to fill your cups as much as you can. The next season of this Earth Saga will ask much of you. Not all of you like previous incarnations, but the best of you every day. To show up for others requires first showing up for yourselves. This is Archangel Metatron speaking through this channeler. May the light remain within all of you. God bless. Now let's break that down a little bit. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm here and I'm doing it now. I'm just going to break it down kind of line by line and giving kind of an idea of what I gathered from it, so that maybe it can resonate with you, and then you can even take it even deeper. So when he said, you're going to do what you're going to do, and that's going to be good enough, we spend so much time planning and preparing and hyper vigilantly going through every potential possibility just so that we are prepared from a separated human lens for anything that can come. That's a sign of trauma. That's a sign of PTSD. When you can't let the universe, when you can't life just come to you, when you need to know that anxiety, that's a sign of trauma, and that might be a route for you to dig into. But what he was saying, to me at least, when he meant you're going to do what you're going to do, and that's going to be good enough, is you're going to handle the situation and circumstance is how you're going to handle it every time. It's great to have these ideas. It's great to imagine, and it's great to set intentions for how you would want to handle a situation. But when it comes to that real-time 0-point moment, the now moment when everything's happening, when everything's hitting the fan, how you handle it is how you're going to handle it, and it's good enough. No matter how bad you perceive it, no matter how good you perceive it, it could have always been better. It could have always been worse. And if you take it as is, you can then take the lessons, apply them to yourself next time, and then move on. And then because you are more open to the now moment, you're more open to whatever happened and knowing you did your best, then you're not going to fret about it and bring yourself down and beat yourself up about how you handle a situation or circumstance, because it was handled exactly how it needed to be handled, because everything is really perfect, especially in the 5D when we're moving there. Faith, trust, belief in yourself, the universe, and God. There is nothing left but to be, do, trust, and believe. You have the keys, you've gained admittance, and you're now standing in the kingdom. Keep down this path, and it will be fireworks. So I remember I was at a music festival last year, before the world shut down. It was in May. They have a music festival down here in Tampa called Sunset. It's a three-day EDM fest, electro dance music. So it's just, oons, oons, oons the whole time. And I don't know, I love it. I love movement. I love energy. I love vibration. And when you have 100,000 amps of bass that are just, it's an incredible experience, especially because a lot of spiritually heightened individuals go there, and it's a community of love. And I really didn't think it was possible until I went to a music festival and I felt true communal love between strangers, that I knew we were onto something big. And I remember at the end of a sunset, at the end of the 3 days, or 2 days I meant, last year, I kind of walked away from my group, and they were doing fireworks at the main stage at the end when the last DJ was playing the last song. And I remember standing there and just watching these fireworks, and I had been going through a transformation even during those 2 days. It was really weird. I was like beginning to see that the people I was around weren't really the people I wanted to be around anymore. I saw that the path that I had been walking really wasn't my path anymore. I mean, the path of human, the path is being human, path is healing, and all that was it. But like all of the externalized worries and all those things, I just felt weren't important anymore. And then at the end of that 2 days festival, the fireworks were going, and God came to me and he just said, Adam, if you keep going this way, it'll be fireworks. And I always knew that. I just didn't realize that the fireworks were going to completely suck dry, and I was going to go into a 18-month, another deeper leg of the dark winter of the soul, another 18 months of healing and going down. But in reality, I'm here now. We're here at almost the event. We're at the event date, and it really is fireworks. It's fireworks happening on the planet. And sometimes fireworks are uncomfortable for some people. Sometimes fireworks get a little annoying after a while. You know what I'm saying? So even the idea of fireworks can be very, very deep. And for Metatron to use that, immediately I was brought back to that memory of mine where I'm looking at the fireworks and God's imbuing me with, keep following this path. And what he meant to me was keep following your heart, keep following this healing, keep following wanting to serve others by first serving yourself, and it will unlock everything. The situations and circumstances that come will be handled, and however you handle them will be the most appropriate action or word taken to address the situation. I made a video the other day where I was talking about how I went into a store and was asked to put on a mask. I told them that I had a condition. I told them I was a veteran. I told them all the things, and it wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough. That's how I took it. And I got triggered. And I felt I didn't handle the situation the best because I got a little aggressive and I used guilt instead of love. But because of that situation now, Every time I walk into a business, I do my breathing technique, and I prepare myself for the potentiality of being confronted for not wearing a mask. And I immediately in that moment say, I will choose love. I will choose understanding. I will choose compassion. But it took all of the other times of handling it like a human, like a traumatized human, reactionary, aggressive, potentially mean, short, cold, to get to this point of finally being able to choose love. And the only reason I'm choosing love, right, is because I want it. I don't want to go home and spend 3 hours triggered. I don't want to go home and spend 3 hours beating myself up because I didn't handle the situation the best. I want to go home in love. I want to walk around the stores in love. I want to get kicked out of stores in love. But for me, not for the collective, not for humanity, that will come. But if you don't know how to love yourself, if we don't know how to love ourselves and have our own backs and care for ourselves and know that we're doing the best in every moment, then we will stay judging the people we're meant to serve. And if you're judging those you're serving, you're not actually serving them, you're serving yourself. And that's the path to service to self anyway. That's why if you're selfishly selfless and giving all of you to other people and not reserving anything for yourself, you're going to end up being a self-serving anyway, and you're going to be ego and angry and all these bitter and resentful, and you're not actually going to be able to do what it is you're meant to do. So again, like the other video I made, service to others is service to self. You're a giant now, but still a human being. So when I think of giant, right, I think of, obviously you think of giants, in the physical sense. But for a very long time in my life, my head was always in the clouds, right? And then when I got into the military, it forced me out of the clouds and forced me into the ground. And I was firmly planted on the ground, all human, all spirit, all human. And now over the last 7 years since my separation, my transition and my transformation, and now coming into the 5D part of the age of Aquarius, where we're at now is I am a giant. And what that means is I now have my head and I have my crown in the clouds, but my feet are firmly planted on the ground. I have that balance between human and being, between being and doing, between resting and going. And if I constantly work on keeping that harmony, because it's always moving, right? And we're always evolving. So we're always evolving. We're always kind of have to shift our life systems, our mindsets to grow with us. That's why when they say in business, a business plan grows with a business, because a business plan isn't sedentary. It evolves as you learn and as you see where the universe is trying to take you with that business. You yourself are a business. I'm an entrepreneurship mind. I love business. I love entrepreneurship, especially community entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, and now this ascension entrepreneurship, spiritual entrepreneurship. But we are a business, just like we are an economy. We have an economy of ourselves. And so when we invest in ourselves, right, when we take the time, what's all we have is time and attention, and put it on ourselves, then we become a giant, because we're no longer stuck floating up here, neglecting our human needs and duties and all those things. Why we chose to come into form, to incarnate at this time. And at the same time, you're not brought all the way into the human where you're separated, you're in fear, you're this, you're that. You have that nice balance of being human to where that's the 0 point, that's now moment, that's presence, that's the gift. Because you have harmonized the clouds with the earth. And now you're the last airbender. It's now time to begin preparing yourself for the final stages of this transformation. What is about to happen within you will be awe-inspiring, to say the least. Do not be alarmed. All this is good and will benefit you and all of humanity drastically in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Now, it's going to suck. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to suck. The physical changes happening in our body, the DNA unlocking, parts of it are going to suck. And every time I'm starting to decipher the messages a little more when they come to me, when they say, oh, don't be alarmed. It'll be fine. Like God said, it'll be fireworks. Keep going. Whew, there's a whole lot that goes on in between those fireworks, and there's a whole lot that's going on with this ascension that is literally going to suck. But that's the beauty of it, is we need that contrast. If we didn't earn the ascension, then it wouldn't be worth it. If we didn't earn admittance into the kingdom, we wouldn't maintain it. Human beings are naturally lazy. We're naturally lazy. We don't want to do anything. Conservation of energy. Being in form is difficult in itself. Just existing is difficult. It really is. Existing correctly is even more difficult. Or existing positively, and nothing's right or wrong, good or bad, existing positively is very difficult. Thus, we don't want to spend any extra energy, especially if we're in our egos, especially if we're in our animal chakras and instincts, our lower chakras. We don't want to do anything other than what we want. I want this food. I want this person. I want to go mate. I want to go have fun. I want these things. But in reality, you don't want for things when you're in the 0 point. You don't yearn for stuff when you're in the 0 point. So if you find yourself wanting, and I'm saying this to myself right now, because I've been wanting for things as well. When you're wanting and you're yearning and you're not in the 0 point. You're back in 4D, 3D. And it's all a choice. But guess what? It's okay to be in 4D, 3D at times. Because you don't know enough to know that you're not supposed to be in there right now. And sometimes we're transmuting to 3D and 4D for others, which means we need to get into the foxhole with them. Being the warriors of light that we are, we need to get into the foxhole with them, with the earth, to transmute that darkness and then pull them out so that they know how to do it themselves. That's why we're light warriors. The weeks, months, and years ahead. Sorry. So the weeks, months, and years ahead. This is just the start, people. Today, as you're watching this video, we are now officially in the age of Aquarius for the first time. It's a 2,000-year cycle on the zodiac, right? First day. This is gonna be a while. It's gonna take some time, and because we're ground crew and because we're the first wave. You think it's going to take a long time. It's going to take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Again, why the interpersonal work is so important. Again, why they're talking about going within and healing ourselves and focusing on ourselves is because this is a long road ahead of us, and it's going to require a lot of energy from us. And if we're focused on what we need and feeding ourselves, it won't be effort. There won't be trying. It'll just be bliss. Bliss is a choice, and it's a choice in actions. Continue to focus on yourselves for now. This is the time to fill your cups as much as you can. The next season of this Earth Saga will ask much of you, but not all of you like previous incarnations, but the best of you every day. All previous incarnations, I'm sure if you're watching these videos, you've been on this planet incarnating over and over and over again, probably since Atlantis, and it's fucking exhausting. So I commend all of you. You're all courageous. You're all honorable. And I've loved serving with you in this lifetime and many others before. Light warriors. Earth's coming into a new place. And we're the ones to lead, right? Previous incarnations asked everything of us. Again, why past generations, they lived selflessly selfish. Selflessly selfish is because they gave all of them. They gave all of themselves to whatever this was at the expense of themselves, and they perished. And we kept perishing for hundreds of thousands of years, potentially eons. Let's just say eons, because we don't know what real time is, so, or real dates and stuff. So we've been at this for a really long time, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, spinning our wheels, getting nowhere. And now we're at a point, we're at the 0 point, we're at the 5D, we're at the opportunity to where all of those incarnations can come together into 1 point, and we can then give our gift to the humanity before moving on to whatever it is that we want to do next. Because if you're like me, you're exhausted. I'm exhausted. And I don't really want to do anything anymore. I want to be. Which is telling me that I've done a lot of this stuff on Earth. I've been in a lot of places on Earth. I still want to travel. I'm still going to have fun. I'm still going to do all those things. I'm human. And this human hasn't experienced that yet. It'll be remembering for me. It'll be experience for him And those two things together, I'll see things in a way I've never seen them before. That's why we incarnate in different forms so much, different angles, different perspectives. It's just all sojourning, right? SOUJORNING, sojourning, I believe. But it's going to require the best of us every day. And what is the best of us every day? It's just loving ourselves a little more, caring for ourselves a little more, being more aware of ourselves, accepting ourselves more, trusting ourselves more, surrendering more to something bigger than us, remembering that that bigger thing is us and that all this is one and everything's perfect. That's just getting better every day. That's the expectation they have from us. That's it. And that expectation is the same expectation we have of ourselves, 1% better. And the true goal moving into 6D, what I'm just being imbued with now, the goal of moving 5D to 6D is then to let go of that need, of that expectation. 6D is letting go of all expectations of how we should be and all those things, and then just doing it and being that Christ consciousness where we really become one. We're not just unified in the 5D, we are one in the 6D. That's the difference, 5D to 6D. To show up for others requires first showing up for yourselves. May the light remain within all of you. This is everything I've been talking about in these last 56 videos. The collective is wonderful. Humanity is amazing. We're all coming together. We're all doing this. But in reality, we're all starring in our own movie. You know? We're starring in our own epic saga of our lives that's co-creating and co-playing with a bunch of other fractals of God that is both us and not us at the same time. So coming together, working together to heal and to raise vibrations and to do all that and to do all these things is exactly what is needed to be done right now. But it will not work if we're not doing that within ourselves right now. So what if I just got this idea right now? And this is a long video, so I apologize. Even though, whatever, I love flowing. So get this. What if 5D was all interpersonal? What if 6D was when we actually really come together and really take it to where we're becoming that universal civilization of higher consciousness beings that can go work with the Andromedans and the Syrians and the Palladians and actually then help other collectives then raise their consciousness and become what we are going through right now, just like the Palladians are doing that for us right now and have been for thousands of years. What if the whole point of 5D wasn't this externalization of ascension, but the internalization of it? Who knows? It's a good theory. I'm gonna dig deeper into that moving forward. But all I keep getting blasted with in terms of channels and imbued with in terms of knowledge and knowing and understanding and wisdom is just be. And if you can't be, then that's where the work needs to happen. We can't become Christ consciousness if we aren't unified within ourselves. We can't unite as a humanity if our own human isn't united with our spirit. There is but one path, right? No, there is but one destination, but many paths to get there. All of our paths will be a little different. But if you continue studying and you continue educating yourself to really remember and bring back together who you are, what you are, why you're here, and why these videos resonate with you, why this 5D consciousness, this higher evolution of being, it just sets you on fire, is because this is why you're here. And this is why you've been here thousands of other lives, most likely thousands of other times, was to be at this very now moment on December 21st, 2020, rediscovering, discovering to uncover, rediscovering everything that you've already known in past lifetimes. Moving into the being that you were always designed to be in all those lifetimes and taking all of that knowledge and wisdom to then give that gift back to the world. Sounds like a starseed journey to me. So I'm really, really grateful for each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for the last 56 days. I've grown so much. I've healed so much. I've evolved so much. I'm connecting with my light family more. I'm connecting with y'all, which you're my family. The family I've always been looking for, was never able to find. Got a taste of it in the Marine Corps. And now it is an actual reality. We are powerful, powerful creator beings, and what you think will be your reality. And now that we have passed this, we are at the event date, there's no more excuses. There's no more justifications. The veil is gone. The veil's gone. You can fly above the fray, or you can immerse yourself in it. That's a choice now. And that's a choice you're actively, consciously making. There's no more unconscious decisions anymore. There's no more conscious actions anymore. And we must hold each other accountable for that and be responsible to ourselves to then continue moving forward and continue helping the planet heal. It starts with us. So if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to hit me up on email, it's damah@gmail.com. If you want to donate to my work, I have my Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo links down below. And with that, I hope you get a little bit further on your journey today. I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your path. And I hope you can bring in a little bit more love into your heart to see that you are going to do what you're going to do, and it's going to be absolutely perfect. There is nothing you need to be more than you are in this very moment to get to where it is you're trying to go. Surrender the old narratives and storylines from the 3D to finally ascend into the 5D, using the holy trinity of vibration, frequency, and resonance to not only gain admittance to the kingdom, but to stay there. Be, do, trust, believe. I love you. I believe in you. I trust you. Let's do this. I'll talk to you all tomorrow at the same time. Goodbye.